Hey, I'm Ann Ryman. I'm a senior reporter at the Arizona Republic, and I specialize in higher education. There's a lot of concern on the university campuses about how the travel ban will affect the students who are here currently and also future students. I recently interviewed a instructor at the University of Arizona, and the concern there is they are getting ready to admit students for the fall for graduate programs. And some of the students from the 7 countries that have been identified, they're kind of not sure what to do yet. Like, do you offer them a position at the university? Do you try to bring them in for an interview? It's really unclear kind of how that's going to play out. Like, at this point, you would try to obviously bring them in and offer them that position. But there's also a question about will students even want to come to the United States? Or if they had a choice of perhaps going to Canada, maybe they would go that route. Arizona State has about 180 students from the 7 countries. U of A has 81, and NAU says they have less than 10.
My name is Aminah Shakoor. I'm a women and gender studies major with a psychology minor if I finish it. And I work at the State Press. I'm managing editor there, and I'm a senior at ASU. Oh yeah, and I'm Muslim. Duh. I was like I'm forgetting something, so I don't know. I was actually born in Alabama. I was born there, and I lived there for 5 years. So I don't really remember it, but I just think it's a funny anecdote when people think I was born in Kazakhstan or something, you know?
I think the students that I talked to, they knew, there might be something regarding immigration that was coming, but they were very surprised to have the 7 countries listed and have their home country be one of the countries.
I wasn't surprised because I feel like I was bracing for that already when he first talked about the Muslim ban, and people would tell me oh, he won't actually do it and things like that, but I'm like, he has the power to do it.
On the other hand, I've also heard from students who, because this is happening, they're getting a great deal of support from, not only students from their own country, but from other places. And so they are thankful for having the support and the help of other students.
Yeah, actually, weirdly, people have been less hostile, but more curious. They kind of look at me and they're like, why are you still here? Things I think there's almost an amount of respect even from conservatives. I feel people being more nicer to me in a really strange way. People being nicer, people being more inquisitive, trying to be nice to me because I think maybe they feel bad.
I was at a rally over at Arizona State University recently, and there were a couple of students there who were from the countries that have been identified, and they were concerned about things like one student had not been home for probably 3 years, but his question was, well, could I even go home for a visit and come back, or am I likely to get stopped? Or even if I don't get stopped, could it be possibly, will I be subject to a lot of questions? So he was actually going to put off any sort of visits home because he's concerned that if he goes home, he won't be able to get back.
Hey, there's a ban going on. It's indefinite. We don't know what's happening. Yes, it got, I think there was a restraining order to counter that ban, but people for the most part are really in the dark.